Hi everybody, I'm Corinne Blackstone and welcome to my craft room. I'm so happy to have you here today. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to do something super duper fun with a book. I'm going to show you how to rhinestone a book cover, and this is so much fun. I'll show you what the book cover looked like before I rhinestoned it, just so you can get an idea. And what's really cool is this is a book that was written by somebody that I actually know. Her name is Michelle Park-Lazette, and what's really cool is that she and I collabed on this video so that we can do a giveaway. We've got 3 non-rhinestone books to give away, and somebody is going to win the rhinestoned book. So I can't wait to see them, and I really encourage you to read this book. It's so good, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what the book's about, tell you a little bit about Michelle while we are doing this project. Now, this is definitely a long project. It takes a while, but it's something that you can just do while you're watching some movies or TV at night, and it's really, really, really fun. I absolutely love this, and you'll need a few supplies for this, of course. So I'm going to list everything down below in the video's description, but you're going to need some rhinestones, of course. You'll need a glue. I recommend B7000. That one worked really, really well for this project. I also recommend that you get a wax pen, which picks up your rhinestones. And you're going to want some rubbing alcohol just to clean your book with. And you want to do a really, really light clean on it, and you don't want to put too much moisture on your book. Now, I'm going to share all the rules to the giveaway throughout the video, and there's going to be a secret code word that you're going to need to look out for so that you can enter the giveaway. So be sure to pay attention. Now, without further ado, let's get started. Now, before we get started on rhinestoning the book, what I want to do is test the glue that came with my rhinestones. I don't want to waste it since they sent so much. So what I'm going to do, I want to flip this over, and I'm going to just do a little tiny test down here on the back. I don't want to do it on the front just in case something happens. But what you want to do is clean it off with a little bit of alcohol. You don't need to use a lot, and I totally just spilled, but you don't need to use a ton. I like to kind of keep it relatively dry, and I'm just going to clean this corner off. Just lightly. You don't want to use a lot. You're going to let this dry because you just want to make sure that obviously your glue will stick once it's dry. Dries pretty quickly. And then once it's dry, I'm going to take the B7000. Now, I assume that this will work. This works on most things. But I'm also going to use this little spatula just to kind of spread it out a little to make sure that it doesn't end up a big old messy mess. So I'm going to put a little dab, and it doesn't take a lot of this glue for your rhinestones to stick. And then if I could see what I was doing, put this cap back on, and then I'm just going to spread this out a little bit because I do want to keep it pretty thin. And then I'm going to just kind of let that dry, and we're going to see if it cracks off, because the key is, since this is not a hardcover book, you need to be a little more careful with it, because if somebody actually does want to read the book, the front is going to bend, the back is going to bend, so you want to make sure that it can bend without the rhinestones coming off. Now, I will say, these are really more for display, but you definitely want to be able to at least look at them and enjoy them. So once this dries, I'm going to let this dry for a little while, and then we'll see if it cracks off. I've let this dry, and so what I'm going to do is just kind of lightly bend the back here. Pick at it with my finger a little. It does not feel like it's coming off at all, so I think we're good to use the B7000 on this. So once we're ready, I'm going to get all of these kind of organized and figure out where we're going to start. So I think we're going to start with the small information first. So our author's name, Michelle Park-Lazette, and then we will do this part, the Descended, the name of the book, and then we'll start to kind of work our way into doing some of the smaller details. I think the black we'll kind of do in sections. And then this might be a little difficult down here, but we'll try to do our best to kind of mimic the girl in the doorway, if you can see her. It's really such a cool cover, and I can't wait to do this. We'll do our best to kind of keep some of the details, but you have to be willing to lose a little bit of detail when you rhinestone a book cover, because you're never going to be able to get every single little tiny detail, especially with a cover like this where there's a lot of things to look at. We've got these little trees, we've got the red here, and the green. So we'll go ahead and get started. We are ready to get started. So like I said, I want to start with her name first, and then this up here at the top. I want to work on the wording. So I know that there's a lot of glare, and you're gonna see me probably do this in a couple of different spots because there's no way I could stand at this desk and bling all of this. There's just no way. So I got these gems off Amazon. Great place to get them. And I'm going to use the smallest ones available to me, and then I'm going to put them in one of my diamond painting trays. Diamond painting trays are great for more than just diamond painting. They're great for if you're going to do rhinestoning. So I'm going to go ahead and shake these out a little bit and tap just to get them spread out and get them like good side up. That's a great tip. There's also this little scoopy that came with these, which is super helpful if you want to scoop out some gems from your tray if you can. This is a little too big for these smaller trays, but it'll be good for the larger ones. Now I'm going to grab the B7000 here, and we're going to go ahead and pull this out. I'm going to leave this sitting on some plastic, and then I'm just going to start by gently tracing the name. Now, keeping in mind that we're not going to get a perfect, it's not going to be the same font. There's just no way. It's very, very small, so you're never going to get it exactly the same as the font that's there, but we're going to do our best to be close. And then they send you a wax pen, but I like this one better, and I'll link it if I can find it. I got it years ago. And then all I do is I just sort of just start. I pick where I'm going to go and I start. Now again, these are as small as I got, and they might still be a little too big, but we'll do the best we can to make sure her name comes out okay, and that you can still generally tell that her name is Michelle. This also has this little pick on it, which I love. So like if I get something a little off-centered, I can just poke it with the pick on the end, because the wax will want to keep picking up the gem. Now, like I said, these are really tiny gems. I might have been able to find smaller, but these were really the smallest I could find in this color. So all you do is you just line your gems along your design. You want to make sure they don't overlap each other, and you just pick one up, set one down. If you've ever done diamond painting, this is like diamond painting, but without the official map to follow. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get blinging on this. I did clean this with alcohol. I just didn't show that since I already did it, but I'm going to get this cleaned up. I got it cleaned with alcohol, and then we're going to go ahead and get all of these down. Now, keeping in mind, B7000 does seem to dry pretty quickly, so I'm probably only going to be able to go like one letter at a time, because I already like can't set this down onto the parts that I put glue on. So we're going to have to kind of go in one letter at a time. I do need a little dot here of glue, and then I need to redo the eye. We'll do our best to fill this whole thing with gems, but there may be some spots that are just going to be a little too tight. So like I said, you're going to probably see different backgrounds, different lighting, because there's just no way I could sit at my desk and do this without moving around my house. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to go ahead and get this whole book cover finished, and I think I'll tell you a little bit about the book and the author while you watch. This book follows Audrey, and her life is already kind of falling apart. Her partner basically drops on her that there's some things in their relationship that they don't see eye to eye on, which is already a lot because this girl's got a lot going on. And then out of nowhere, these creatures literally crash down and start attacking everything around them. So things escalate really quickly, but this book had me hooked within the first couple of pages, which is so important when I'm going to go and read a book. I want to be hooked, and I think you will be too. I also want to share some rhinestoning tips throughout this as well for you. So while I'm placing these, one quick tip is to make sure that you use less glue than you think you need. A really thin layer is all you need. If it's squishing out the sides when you're pressing down your rhinestone, you're using too much glue. You can always keep a little damp cloth close by to wipe off if you put too much glue down, or just use the tip to spread it around. The B7000 has a precision tip, which is super helpful so that I don't get too much glue out. And it also really helps get into any of those like thin, small areas that you want to place your rhinestones in. I also recommend working in small sections so it doesn't dry before you get your stones down. B7000 dries pretty quick, so I did very small sections. The quick drying glue can be a blessing and a curse. Make sure you close the glue while you're not working on with it so that it doesn't dry up and block the tip. All right, so back to the book. Audrey ends up running for her life and gets pulled into this hidden underground shelter thing through what's basically a secret door in the side of a mountain, which already sounds weird, but it gets weirder in a good way. She's safe there, but she's not really allowed to explore, but obviously, like anyone would, she does anyways, and we all know we would too, right? I know I sure would. Now, this is coming along so nicely. I am using stone sizes from the SS6, which is about 2 millimeters, up to an SS30, which is 6 millimeters, and kind of everything in between to do some fill-ins. Obviously, the larger stones will make your project go faster, but using a variety of sizes is going to give you a really nice sparkle and texture, as well as allowing you to fill in those smaller details. I found a ton of color options on Amazon for my rhinestones, so whatever book you're doing, you should be able to find the colors that you need. This is definitely one of those trust the process projects, and I'm so excited because we're actually doing a giveaway for this. One winner is going to get this exact signed rhinestone copy, and 2 more winners are going to get signed copies of the book without rhinestones. While I loved doing this project, I'm not sure my eyes can handle another one. Now, what you need to know to enter. You need to follow both of us on Instagram, and for a bonus entry, you can follow us on Facebook too. I'll put links to our profiles down in the video's description and in a pinned comment here on YouTube. If you don't have Instagram, you can enter on Facebook. Then go to the giveaway post and comment the secret word lurcher. Tag a friend and like the post. You need to do all 3 of those things to be entered. You can also share it to your story for an additional entry, but be sure to tag myself at Corinne_Blackstone Crafts and author Michelle Park-Lazette. Again, I'll have these linked in the video's description and in a pinned comment. Now, this is a US only entry, and there will be 3 winners total. Now, this one is super important if you're doing rhinestones. So this is my big tip is you want to use a wax picker tool for this, which makes it so much faster. Now, they sent some with the rhinestones, but they were really not great quality. So the ones that I use are much better quality, in my opinion. They're much sturdier. They're more comfortable to hold. I got them from Amazon and will link them in the video's description for you. Everything in this project is from Amazon, so it's really easy to access the supplies. Another quick tip is if you want to use all the same size stones, you need to try and make sure all your lines line up perfectly, or it can end up looking really messy at the end and you will have a slanted design. This is another reason that I do prefer to use multiple sizes. And I'm not gonna lie, this part takes forever. You really have to commit. It's the perfect thing to do while binging your favorite show, listening to an audiobook, or watching a movie. Now, remember Audrey? Girl is stuck in the underground bunker with people she doesn't know and is being told she can't explore or go into some places. So what's a girl to do? Audrey starts noticing things that don't make sense. People seem to know things she hasn't said out loud. Injuries don't seem to work the way they should. And then she finds this folder with her name on it. And that's when she realizes the people in this underground world are connected to her life in ways she never expected. This book had me surprised and intrigued at every turn, and I didn't want to put it down. The author Michelle Park-Lazette writes apocalyptic fantasy with hidden magic and really big, impossible choices. This is actually her debut novel, and she independently published the whole thing, which is honestly so impressive. She's from Northeast Ohio, just like me, which I thought was really cool, and her stories have that mix of dark moments, but still a little bit of hope. Now, I've known Michelle for a very long time, and she is a fantastic human being. Michelle is working on another novel too, so keep your eyes peeled. Now, another tip is if you mess up placement for your rhinestone, fix it right away before the glue sets. There's a little needle tool on the end of my wax pen, which is the other reason that I really like it, that allows me to move those rhinestones a little bit without touching them with the wax, because that can sometimes cause them to pick it up again. Now, I do also like to start with the smaller details like I showed you. I started with her name, the name of the book, and then I went into the brown stems on the trees, then into the red, and then I started on the green since that was kind of detail to detail. Now, I did have to cover up a part that does say a novel because it was too small to be covered, but I always want to make sure the author name and the title are done first. Then I choose the next details that may require those smaller gems like the sticks in the trees. Working in this way is going to allow you to work with one color stone at a time and ensure that those small details pop. This took absolute hours, but I love how this came out. I'm so obsessed with it. It just makes the book feel so much more special. This was such a fun collab to do with Michelle Park-Lazette, and the giveaway starts now. It will run for 7 days beginning April 4th, 2026, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, and it ends on April 11th, 2026 at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. I'd love to hear what some of your favorite books are and if you have read The Descended. I will link the book in the video's description if you want to get a copy, and I'll also put a QR code up here on the screen for you if you want to scan that instead. This is available for Kindle, audio, and physical books. Now, are you a physical book person? Do you prefer your Kindle, or do you like to listen to audiobooks? I'm an audiobook girly so that I can crochet while I listen. Now, all right, if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments down below. I'm always happy to answer those for you. Be sure that you're subscribed here on YouTube and that you enter our giveaway. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, happy crafting.